Okay, right. We're back again. We had to move our spot because once again the internet connection was very bad inside. Hopefully things will be better. Right now we are on the street, right in between the campus and Sanam Luang. And let's go back to Ang Ang. Last we left off, we were discussing your life. You are elite. Your life is wonderful. Your future is great. So what future or whose future are you fighting for?
I think it's not just about for those out there who might be in a more privileged kind of society. It's not just about fighting for our future, because obviously we don't have that much to lose. But it's about waking up, and looking around you. It's not about caring just about yourself, but others. It's about knowing that your choices in the future, because of course many of my friends have parents that are very wealthy, that own large corporations, that influence the Thailand's economy, Thailand's GDP. And if we open our eyes and start to give a crap about these things, it's not just our future, but it's the future of everyone else, of the working class, of the lower income classes. And it's very important to know that no matter how privileged you are, how elite you are, you have the power to change that. And we have to burst out this bubble of privilege, of not giving a crap, of thinking that, this doesn't affect us, because although it may not affect you directly, it affects the lives of so many more people. It affects lives of 1,000, 10,000 of other Thais who are in the working class or low income class. And just you coming out to speak about it, or voting in the next 10 years when you're 18 can impact so much, have much more impact than you think.
Okay, now repeat once again. I am your parents' generation. I am old enough to be your father, and I can tell you right now, the people from my generation is all about making money. It's all about the career success. That's your measurement in life. And a lot of my friends, they are captains of industries, and managing directors, CEOs, vice presidents, so on and so forth. Some of them do care about what's going on. Many of them do support the pro-democracy protest, but almost all of them would say the same thing. They don't want to step out. They don't want to step up because they have so much at stake. They have families, they have million or billion baht business to run, they have employees, they have wife, they have children, they have this and that. They have roots in this society. So what can they do? What can they do in order to step out of that shell and be a part of change?
I think a lot of people, and I have seen, I agree that a lot of people who are, although may have are in the privileged class, they do care. A lot of my friends say that they care about what is happening in Thailand, but they're afraid to speak out. They're in the silence, I think. But what I'm saying is that if there is fear, then there is no true democracy. If you're here to say that, I think there is already democracy in Thailand, but I want a bit more freedom of speech and things like that. But then if you're still afraid to speak out, then there will never be a day that we can have true democracy. And it's the fear itself. I say that it's understandable. There's a lot at stake for many people. But in the end, I wanted to think at it as it's not just about you, it's about other people, and it's very important that you have to, again, give a shit about what's happening around in Thailand. If you care about it but you're afraid, then there's no point. You have to speak up about it. Use the privilege you have, the power you have, the wealth you have to do something about this. Because if everyone is afraid, if everyone in the privileged class is afraid, then nothing can happen. I think I have seen an interview in Thai and says คนที่มีต้นทุนมันสำคัญมากที่จะให้คนที่มีต้นทุนทางสังคมออกมาพูดเรื่องนี้เพราะว่าเขาเป็นกลุ่มที่จะสามารถสร้างความเปลี่ยนแปลงได้ meaning that it's very important to have people with privilege, people with power to speak up about it, because they are the ones who can actually create change, influence, have the largest influence. But if everyone is thinking what I have at stake, then it's never going to work. But on the contrary, everyone there's a risk for anything. If they are willing to take that risk, then I think change would be able to happen.
Okay, so basically you're saying if you're rich, then you can afford to make the sacrifice. You can afford to give back. But right now, all we are seeing is middle class people, even working class people, they are the one making the sacrifice rather than rich people, right? One last thing, what sort of backlash have you received ever since you started writing for Thisupt and also possibly following this interview? I have heard horrible stories about the things people have said about you. You betray your class, you betray your peers. What kind of an elite are you? What kind of an ungrateful child are you? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, I guess not just a little bit, because there's a lot of backlash.
Let them hear it, let them have it.
I think it didn't just start with when I wrote with Thisupt. I think the big one started there, but even before that, I was an advocate for a lot of social issues here in Thailand with my page and all of that. But once I came out to speak, especially about the international school student community or the community of the privileged kids, the backlash I got was that one of the craziest ones were that this person has texted me on Instagram and said that, we're from international school, right? We don't really have to care about this because it doesn't really affect us. And I was speechless. This is what I'm talking about, that the fact that people don't give a crap about things that is happening outside of their lives. And another backlash that I was receiving is that, yes, the ungrateful part. A lot of people say, you have the money, you have the power, your family has the wealth, just take it, shut up, and leave this problem to deal with the people who are suffering at, what is happening right now. And I think, again, I am speechless in the apathy. And I think another one is a lot of the school environment myself that I have been experiencing. Definitely my school is a more conservative school in terms of the faculty and especially my friends. I have a lot of very close friends in my school, but once it comes to politics, we have a line that, a thing that I say that I don't talk about politics with my friend because one, either they're ignorant, or two, they completely disagree with what I am fighting for. Some of them even go far to say that we already have freedom of speech here in Thailand. And I think also on Twitter, I think people just saying that, กระแดะก็มีกินแล้วจะออกมาพูดทำไม and things like that. And another girl texted me and said that, we're actually not privileged because I don't own a Gucci bag. And I'm just like, so that's your measurement of privilege, brand names, which I completely disagree with. But a lot of not just like horrendous things being said at me, but a lot of crazy things too, which kind of reflected to why I'm speaking about this, why I decided to write more about it. But I guess to some or to many friends that are still at my school, or to the teachers still at my school, they still don't agree with what I am fighting with, and I've been constantly still getting a lot of backlash. But I guess, if there's people who are going to support me, there's definitely people who are going to hate me. So I guess.
Well, okay, that's one example of the future of Thailand, which makes me feel better about things. Thank you, Ang Ang. We'll continue finding people at the protest to interviews, to hear different opinions, so on and so forth. Right now, we're going to take a break. We will be back soon. Thank you.